Okay, so here's the thing nobody tells you about a Virgo man and Sagittarius woman getting together. It's like watching someone who color codes their sock drawer fall in love with someone who doesn't even own a drawer. And somehow, it can actually work. But not in the way you'd think. Because if you're watching this, you're probably in one of three situations. Either you're a Sagittarius woman who just met this annoyingly particular Virgo guy and you can't figure out why you're so drawn to him, or you're a Virgo man completely confused about why this chaotic, beautiful disaster of a woman has turned your whole world upside down. Or you're watching this relationship from the outside thinking, there's no way this works, and you need to understand how they're still together. By the end of this, you're going to understand exactly why this pairing is simultaneously one of the most frustrating and most growth-inducing combinations in the Zodiac. No sugarcoating, no generic astrology nonsense, just the real dynamics at play here. Let's start with what actually attracts these two to each other, because on paper, this makes zero sense. A Virgo man is Earth, grounded, practical, methodical. He's the guy who reads reviews before buying toilet paper. He has a routine. He knows exactly how he likes his coffee, and if you make it differently, he'll drink it, but you'll see that tiny twitch in his eye that says, this isn't right. Then you have the Sagittarius woman, fire sign ruled by Jupiter, the planet of expansion and excess. She's the person who books a flight to another country because she's bored on a Tuesday. She doesn't have a 5-year plan, she has a let's see what happens approach to life. Her idea of organization is knowing which pile of stuff on her floor has clean clothes versus dirty clothes. So, what's the attraction? Why do these two even give each other a second look? For the Virgo man, the Sagittarius woman represents everything he secretly wishes he could be, but is too scared to try. She's free. She's unapologetically herself. She doesn't overthink things the way he does. When he's spending 3 hours researching the best vacuum cleaner, she's already bought one, used it, decided it's fine, and moved on with her life. There's something magnetic about that to him. She makes life look easy in a way he's never experienced. And here's what people miss. Virgo men are way more adventurous than they get credit for. They just need someone to give them permission to let loose. The Sagittarius woman doesn't ask for permission for anything, and that's intoxicating to him. She's reliable in a way most people in her life aren't. Now, let's talk about the early dating phase, because this is where things get interesting and messy really fast. The Virgo man approaches dating like he's conducting research for a dissertation. He wants to know everything. What's your family like? What are your goals? How do you handle stress? What's your credit score? Okay, maybe not that last one on the first date, but he's definitely thinking about it. He's looking for red flags, green flags, yellow flags, flags he didn't even know existed. The Sagittarius woman approaches dating like it's an improv comedy show. She's just riffing, seeing where things go, having fun. She'll tell you about the time she accidentally ended up at a stranger's wedding in Mexico, and she's dead serious, but also laughing the whole time. She's not thinking about whether this is leading to marriage, she's thinking about whether she's enjoying herself right now. This creates an interesting dynamic. The Virgo man might interpret her spontaneity as flakiness. She says, let's hang out this weekend, but doesn't make concrete plans, and he's sitting there on Friday night thinking, so is this happening or not? Meanwhile, she thinks he's uptight because he wants to nail down a specific time and place. Here's the thing though. If they can get past this initial friction, something beautiful starts to happen. The Virgo man starts to realize that her spontaneity isn't irresponsibility, it's just a different way of moving through the world. And the Sagittarius woman starts to appreciate that his need for structure isn't about controlling her, it's about how he shows care. When he plans a date down to the minute, it's not because he's rigid, it's because he values her time and wants everything to be perfect. But let's be honest, a lot of these relationships don't make it past month 3 because neither one understands this yet. The Sagittarius woman feels suffocated by his questions and his need to define things. The Virgo man feels anxious because he can't get a read on her. She's hot and cold, available then distant, and he hates uncertainty more than almost anything. If they're going to make it work,
Someone needs to bridge this gap. Usually, it's the Virgo man who has to learn to relax first, because the Sagittarius woman isn't going to change her fundamental nature just because he's uncomfortable. She's been herself her whole life, and she's not about to start pretending to be someone else. Let's get into communication, because this is where the real battle happens. Virgo men communicate like they're writing a technical manual. Everything needs to be precise, accurate, and logical. They don't just say, "I'm upset." They say, "I'm experiencing frustration because when you said you'd be home at 6 and arrived at 7:30 without communicating the delay, it disrupted my plans and made me feel like my time isn't valued."
Sagittarius women communicate like they're telling a story around a campfire. They're animated. They go on tangents. They'll start talking about one thing and end up somewhere completely different. They use hyperbole. When they say, "I'm starving," they don't mean they're literally dying of hunger. They mean they're pretty hungry. And also, wouldn't it be fun to try that new Thai place? You can see the problem here. The Virgo man takes everything literally. The Sagittarius woman speaks in metaphors and exaggerations. When she says, "You never want to do anything spontaneous," he hears "never," and immediately starts listing the 17 times in the past year he did something unplanned. But she didn't mean literally never. She meant, "Lately I've been feeling like we're in too much of a routine." The biggest communication breakdown happens around emotions. Virgo men process feelings through analysis. Something upsets them, and they need time to think about it, figure out exactly what they're feeling and why, and then articulate it clearly. This can take hours or even days. Sagittarius women process feelings through talking. They need to verbally work through what they're experiencing in real time. If something's bothering her, she wants to talk about it right now. Not tomorrow, not after you've had time to think, now. So what happens? She wants to have a conversation about something that upset her. He needs space to process. She interprets his need for space as him shutting her out or not caring. He interprets her immediate need to talk as her being impulsive and not thinking things through. Both of them end up frustrated and feeling misunderstood. The fix here isn't easy, but it's simple. They need to learn each other's language. The Virgo man needs to understand that when she wants to talk immediately, it's not an attack. It's how she processes. He doesn't have to have all the answers right away. He can say, "I hear you. I need some time to think about this, but I'm not avoiding you." That small acknowledgement changes everything. The Sagittarius woman needs to give him that processing time without taking it personally. He's not being cold or dismissive, his brain just works differently. And honestly, some of her best insights about the relationship will come during those quiet periods when she's forced to sit with her own thoughts instead of immediately verbalizing everything. Now let's talk about lifestyle differences, because this is where things get really tested. We're not just talking about small quirks here. We're talking about fundamental approaches to daily life. The Virgo man has systems for everything. His morning routine is sacred. Wake up at the same time, coffee prepared the same way, gym or workout at the same time, work organized in specific blocks. His living space is clean. Not necessarily minimalist, but everything has a place. He knows where his keys are. He knows when his bills are due. He has a budget spreadsheet that would make an accountant weep with joy. The Sagittarius woman lives in beautiful chaos. She might wake up at 7 one day and noon the next. Her morning routine is whatever feels right that day. Maybe she works out, maybe she doesn't. Maybe she eats breakfast, maybe she forgets and has lunch at 3. Her living space is lived in. There are books everywhere, half-finished projects, souvenirs from trips, things she meant to put away 3 weeks ago. She knows approximately where her keys are, usually. Bills get paid eventually. Budget, she has a general sense of her money situation, and that's good enough. When these two move in together, or even just spend significant time in each other's spaces, reality hits hard. The Virgo man walks into her apartment and his eye starts twitching. Not because it's dirty, but because it's disorder. He wants to organize her bookshelf alphabetically or by genre. He sees her junk drawer and thinks, "I could fix this in 20 minutes with some drawer dividers." The Sagittarius woman walks into his place and feels like she's in a museum. Everything is so neat, it almost feels unlived in. She's afraid to put her bag down anywhere because what if it's not the designated bag spot?
She opens his fridge and everything is organized and labeled, and she's simultaneously impressed and slightly terrified. Here's where it gets tricky. The Virgo man might start trying to help her get organized. He means well. He genuinely thinks he's improving her life by creating systems for her. But she doesn't experience it as help. She experiences as criticism. Like he's saying, "The way you live is wrong. Let me fix you." And she might push back by being deliberately messy or chaotic, almost to prove a point. "I can leave my shoes in the middle of the floor if I want to. This is my space too." But he doesn't see it as her claiming her space. He sees it as disrespect for their shared environment. The compromise here requires both of them to give up something. The Virgo man has to accept that not everything needs to be organized his way. Her mess isn't a moral failing, it's just a different way of existing. He needs to create zones. Maybe the shared spaces stay relatively organized, but her personal space, her desk, her side of the closet, that's her territory, and he needs to let it be. The Sagittarius woman has to recognize that his need for order isn't about controlling her. It's about how he manages stress and anxiety. A chaotic environment makes him genuinely uncomfortable. So maybe she makes an effort to not leave dishes in the sink overnight or puts her coat on the hook instead of the chair. Small things that matter to him but don't fundamentally change who she is. Let's get into social life and how they interact with the world, because this is another major difference. Virgo men are selective about their social circle. They have a few close friends, people they trust deeply. They're not the guy at the party talking to everyone. They're the guy having an in-depth conversation with one or two people in the corner. They recharge by being alone or with their closest people. Too much social interaction drains them. Sagittarius women are social butterflies who accidentally collect people. They make friends everywhere. The barista knows their life story. They met someone interesting at the grocery store, and now they're texting about meeting up for drinks. They thrive on variety in their social interactions. They get bored talking to the same people about the same things all the time. They need new perspectives, new energy. So imagine they're in a relationship. She wants to go to every party they're invited to. He wants to go to maybe one a month, and even then, he's mentally preparing himself for it. She wants to have people over spontaneously. He needs at least 3 days' notice before guests arrive so he can mentally prepare and clean the house to his standards. She'll say, "My friend's having a thing tonight. Want to go?" And he's thinking, "It's already 6. I was planning to relax. I don't know these people. I haven't eaten dinner. This sounds like my personal nightmare." But he also doesn't want to disappoint her, so maybe he goes and spends the whole night visibly uncomfortable, which makes her feel bad. Or he says no, and she goes alone, which is fine, except she stays out later than she said she would because she was having fun, and he's at home, low-key spiraling, thinking, "She said she'd be home by 11. It's midnight 30. Did something happen? Is she okay? Or is she just having so much fun she forgot about me?" Neither response is healthy. The Virgo man going to things he doesn't want to do builds resentment. The Sagittarius woman feeling guilty for having a social life builds resentment. Him waiting at home anxious creates unnecessary stress. The solution isn't meeting in the middle, because that just makes both of them half satisfied. The solution is giving each other freedom to be themselves. She goes to the social events she wants to attend. He stays home when he needs to recharge. They don't take it personally. But here's the key part nobody talks about. They need to create their own social experiences together that work for both of them. Maybe it's not big parties, but smaller dinner parties with people they both like. Maybe it's going to events that have built-in time limits, like a concert or a show, so he knows there's an end point. Maybe she goes out with friends 3 nights a week, and 1 night a week is their date night that's non-negotiable. The Virgo man needs to work on not making her feel guilty for being social. Her having friends and a life outside of him isn't a threat, it's healthy. The Sagittarius woman needs to work on following through when she says she'll be somewhere or do something. If she says she'll be home by 11, she should actually be home by 11, or at least text and let him know plans changed. Now we need to talk about the deeper stuff: values, life goals, the big picture.
because attraction and chemistry can only carry you so far. At some point, you need to be aligned on the things that actually matter. Virgo men are planners. They think 5, 10, 15 years ahead. They want to know the path. They set goals and create actionable steps to achieve those goals. Career progression matters to them. Financial security matters to them. They want to own a home, have retirement savings, build something stable and lasting. Sagittarius women are dreamers. They think about possibilities, not plans. They want to experience life fully, whatever that means. They might want to live abroad for a year just because. They might want to quit their job and try something completely different, even if it pays less. They value experiences over security. They'd rather spend money on travel than on a down payment for a house. You can see the potential conflict. He wants to save for the future. She wants to live in the present. He wants to climb the career ladder. She wants to feel fulfilled and happy, even if that means taking risks. He wants roots. She wants wings. This is where a lot of these relationships end. Not because they don't love each other, but because they want fundamentally different lives. He sees her spontaneity as irresponsibility. She sees his planning as him being closed off to life's possibilities. But here's the thing. If they can find a way to honor both perspectives, they actually balance each other beautifully. The Virgo man needs someone to remind him that life isn't just about reaching the next milestone. You can have all the security in the world and still feel empty if you never actually enjoy your life. The Sagittarius woman needs someone to remind her that freedom without foundation is just chaos. You can't travel the world if you're broke and stressed about money. The key is creating a shared vision that incorporates both of their values. Maybe they agree to save a certain percentage of their income for future security, but the rest is flexible for experiences. Maybe they commit to living in one place for a few years to build stability, but with the understanding that they'll reassess and maybe make a big change later. Maybe he learns to say yes to spontaneous weekend trips, and she learns to say yes to creating a budget and sticking to it. They have to stop seeing each other's approach as wrong and start seeing it as complementary. His practical nature keeps them from making reckless decisions. Her adventurous spirit keeps them from living a life of regret and what-ifs.
So let's bring this all together. Can a Virgo man and Sagittarius woman make it work long-term? Honestly, it's going to be harder than most pairings. They're going to frustrate each other regularly. They're going to have moments where they think, why am I with someone so different from me? But here's what I've seen in the couples who actually make it work. They stop trying to change each other. The Virgo man stops trying to make her more organized and responsible. The Sagittarius woman stops trying to make him more spontaneous and carefree. They accept that they're different, and that's actually okay. They develop deep respect for each other's strengths. He respects her courage and optimism. She respects his reliability and care. They don't just tolerate their differences, they actually appreciate them. They communicate constantly, not just about feelings, but about logistics, expectations, needs. They over-communicate because they know their default settings are so different that assumptions will lead to problems. They give each other space. He gets his quiet time. She gets her adventure time. They don't make everything a battle about whose way is better. And most importantly, they choose each other every single day. Because this relationship won't work on autopilot. It requires intention and effort and genuine commitment to making it work despite the challenges. If you're in this pairing, here's what you need to know. You're going to grow more with this person than you would with someone more similar to you. The Virgo man will learn to loosen up, take risks, and enjoy spontaneity. The Sagittarius woman will learn to think ahead, create stability, and follow through on commitments. You'll drive each other crazy, but you'll also make each other better. This isn't a fairy tale romance where everything just clicks effortlessly. This is a growth partnership. And if both of you are willing to do the work, to be uncomfortable, to stretch beyond your natural tendencies, you might just build something really incredible together. The question isn't whether you're compatible by traditional standards. The question is whether you're both committed enough to create compatibility through understanding, respect, and genuine effort. And only you two can answer that.